respect to all other petitions, right? What this is about is not how many signatures can you get, but rather it was an opportunity to get this issue exposed on the White House website itself, right, which has millions of visitors coming in from all over the world. The second thing that's most profound about this, interesting about this project, is that these petitions are not limited to U.S. citizens. Anyone in the world can sign any of these petitions. You put your name, your address, your email, and you can put in your country, and they might list that. You can put in a city, state, or a country, and they'll list that. And then they publish the petition with your first name and last initial. First name, last initial. And so theoretically, the audience for any issue or petition is the entire planet. Any nation can sign. So immediately PRG set in motion an advocacy approach here that could be very profound, because whether or not the White House knew it, they had made a mistake with respect to this issue. So, and then I'll tell you why. So that disclosure petition one was submitted on September the 22nd. It got to 5,000 signatures almost immediately, and thus the White House had to respond. That response came on November the 4th. So the petition was up from September 22nd to November the 4th. It was seen by a lot of people, perhaps millions. The issue was right out there in front of the world. And then, as you read earlier, their response, which came from the Office of Science and Technology Policy, there was one of several approaches they took. They took the hard line. And in about a 9-paragraph response written by a researcher at the Office of Science and Technology Policy in the executive branch, they stated, as you had stated, the U.S. government has no evidence that any life exists outside our planet, or that extraterrestrial presence has contacted or engaged any member of the human race. In addition, there is no credible information to suggest that any evidence is being hidden from the public's eye. Now, you have had thousands of guests on your shows over the years.
Yeah.
Probably few people in North America are more aware than you that position is completely false.
Oh, wait a second here. I've had many people on the show talking about UFOs and what they believe they have seen, but no one has come forth with hardcore evidence substantiating their claims.
When you say hardcore, you say no evidence. Haven't you had witnesses on your show? People like Edgar Mitchell and some of the Air Force officers regarding nuke tampering.
But once again, there's no evidence. They cannot substantiate the claims they're making, Stephen.
They can't?
No. What they're giving me is testimony of what they believe they saw, not what it actually was.
So in your view, the collective evidence, remember, you're aware, this phenomenon has been researched for 60 years.
It's been researched for 60 years, I agree, but the quality of the research is at question.
Well, over 5,000 books have been written.
Hey, listen, how many comic books have been written over the years about men who fly, about, like Superman, Batman, the Green Lantern? They're fictional, and yet there have been well over 1,000 books written on comic book characters.
Then I step back. It was somewhat presumptuous of me to say that, and I asked your pilot.
No problem, no, Stephen. You don't need to say anything, my friend. I was just you asked me my opinion, and I just gave it to you.
You're right. But the thing is, I was trying to put words in your mouth. Let me restate it.
Okay.
All right. As someone who's been in this field for 16 years, who's talked to hundreds of witnesses, scores of contactees, and has reviewed the evidence, I can say from my position to your audience that the evidence for an extraterrestrial presence is overwhelming.
Then I have to ask you,
16 years in the field.
Then I have to ask you, in all fairness, you're telling me that the petition that was on the U.S. government White House website, that was viewed by the world, and any member of the world population could have signed that petition, and only 12,500 people signed.
Well,
that's a drip of water into the Atlantic Ocean.
The only people that are going to sign it, it's on the White House website, are those that know about it. We have to promote it ourselves, and so we promoted that petition extensively, but the number of people that are going to sign it are those that are aware of it. It's not like anybody can access it, you have to know about it first. And so this thing has to be promoted, and people have to know they can go to the White House website.
Gotcha.
And do this. I think the petition that got the most signatures was one of the many petitions that were submitted regarding drug law reform, particularly marijuana reform.
Yeah.
And I think the most it got was like 68,000. And so the disclosure petition getting 12,000 was quite respectable. More importantly, the disclosure petition one got more media coverage than any of the other submitted petitions all combined. Not submitted, but posted petitions.
Well, we know for a fact that the media jumps on anything about UFOs, extraterrestrials, alien abductions, cattle mutilation, because it's an interesting topic, and if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. And after all, the media is after ratings.
Perhaps. So let me go further. Why this is important. This response from the OSTP was the first time in the 65 years since the early 47 that the executive branch of the government has ever put a position on this in writing. It's never happened before. This was a clear part of the truth embargo. They could never want to do that, because then you're going to have to defend it.
Right.
And so the point was you avoid having to state your position.
But isn't this just speculation that this is why they did it? And the fact on the other side of this coin could be very well that they were correct in what they stated. There is no evidence, there is no proof, and the government hasn't got anything.
Well,
isn't that a possibility?
Stated, Rob, I've been in this for 16 years, and the evidence is overwhelming. So I can't obviously ascribe to that assertion. And I didn't say why they did it. I simply said that they created a petition process on the White House website.
Right.
And opened the door for us to get this issue directly into the White House. We got the necessary signatures under their rules.
Right.
And they reissued this statement from the Office of Science and Technology Policy. And this statement, for whatever reason, why they did that process, is the first formal position by the executive branch of the United States government.
But it says in that statement the same thing the government has been saying from day one, that they don't believe UFOs are here, they have no evidence, and they're just reiterating in this statement what they've been saying for the last 65 years. We've got to take a commercial break in the news. I'll be back. Stephen Bassett is our guest let's try this again. Our guest this hour, Exo Nation. When we come back, we're going to let Stephen tell you how you can sign on to the new petition that's going up. 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll free. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. We'll be back after the news. Don't go away.
And I went in to ask him why. He said, "You look like a fine, upstanding young man. I think you do." So I took off my hat and said, "Imagine that, me working for you." Whoa.
Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships. Not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com. $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X Zone radio show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
I made love to an alien near Roswell last night. We strolled along together in the pale moonlight. I had a funny feeling that something wasn't right. I made love to an alien last night. When she gripped my hand, I was feeling mighty fine, but her fingers with mine would not intertwine. When I bent down and gazed into her eyes, they were big as donuts and blacker than the sky. She said, I'm feeling lonely. I said, Lord, so am I.
Explanation, Stephen Bassett is our special guest this hour, and Stephen has a number of websites that you can go to. I would imagine we've got, first of all, www.paradigmresearchgroup.org, www.disclosurepetition.info. We have www.exopoliticsworld.net. And have we covered them all, Stephen?
Oh, Lord, no. There's more of it. The most important one is right now, and I invite your listeners to pull it up while the show's on, is disclosurepetition.info.
All right, what am I missing here in the big picture? Because the way I'm looking at it is that the statement that the government gave you, and let me just get it over here. Let me see. The U.S. government has no evidence that any life exists outside our planet or that extraterrestrial presence has contacted or engaged any member of the human race. In addition, there is no credible information to suggest that any evidence is being hidden from the public's eye. Now, they're just stating, Stephen, the exact same thing that they've been saying since day one.
Actually, the White House has never issued a statement like that in its entire 65 years.
But isn't the government the government? Are we just trying to read something into this that really isn't there, that nothing has changed, except it was on the White House website, and the reply came in response from the petition on the website of the White House. It wasn't issued by President Obama, so I can't understand the significance of this statement, especially since it doesn't contradict anything the government has said before.
This is the White House Petition Project set up so that the administration can respond, meaning the executive branch. Okay. The response in this case came from the OSTP, which is the science section of the executive branch. And so this is the formal position of the Obama administration.
Okay.
And this is the first time it's ever been put in writing. And so once you put something in writing, it's now a stationary target. And it's much more difficult to sort of dodge it. You have to defend it if someone comes after it.
Don't you think that the government has bigger and better things to do with their time, like homeland security, the threat that Iran is posing towards the United States, the economy, and everything else, than to worry about 12,500 people and what they think the government is doing with reference to UFOs and aliens?
The government has a lot of things to do with its time.
Right.
But the idea that the presence of extraterrestrials engaging the human race is not an issue that concerned the government is, of course, not something that I would ascribe to. I personally believe the ET issue is the most important in the world today, and millions of people around the planet feel the same way, as the polling numbers clearly indicate. Also, this issue has been, though however justified during the Cold War, the greatest deception that probably has ever been played on the citizens of any nation in history, and there have been some buttes out there. This is the only thing comparable to this was the effort by the Catholic Church to suppress, through some pretty draconian means, the scientific developments regarding astronomy and the planets and the sun, because they felt it threatened church doctrine. So for some time, they literally killed people and went to great measures to prevent that from growing. But of course, it was inevitable that we would learn the truth about the solar system, just as it's inevitable we will learn the truth about this extraterrestrial presence.